Welcome to The 10, the channel where reality beats fiction and humor is mandatory. Today, we bring you a fascinating and slightly morbid list, 10 people who faked their own deaths to escape trouble, reinvent themselves, or simply live in peace. Hit like, subscribe, and join us on this roller coaster of surprising and slightly crazy stories. 10. John Darwin and the Disappearing Kayak. In 2002, John Darwin, a British prison guard, decided the best way to escape debt was to fake his own death. He staged a kayaking accident in the North Sea and let everyone believe he had tragically drowned. For years, he lived secretly while his wife collected insurance. It sounds like a novel, but it was real, and it shocked all of England. The funniest part, John didn't go far. He hid in a house right next to his own. Yes, like a ghostly neighbor no one sees, but everyone suspects. His plan collapsed when both were caught trying to start a new life in Panama. So absurd that it inspired series and documentaries. 9. Timothy Dexter, the millionaire who attended his own funeral. In the 18th century, Timothy Dexter, an eccentric American millionaire, staged his own death just to hear what people said. He organized a lavish funeral, invited friends, relatives, and enemies, and hid to spy on their tears and speeches. In the end, he appeared alive to claim attention. His extravagant personality made him a cartoonish figure of his time. Some called him mad, others a genius of self-marketing. This fake death was just one of his many eccentricities, but certainly the most talked about. Even back in 1799, people already pulled extreme pranks. 8. Ken Kesey, the hippie-style escape. Ken Kesey, author of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, faked his death in the 60s to avoid arrest for marijuana possession. He staged a fake suicide, leaving his truck by a cliff with a goodbye note, while he secretly crossed into Mexico to hide. The amazing part, he never stopped writing or adventuring with his merry pranksters. Eventually, he returned to the U.S. to face minor charges. His story mixes counterculture, literature, and dark humor. Not every cult writer disappears so dramatically. 7. Christian Longo, the fugitive imposter. In 2001, Christian Longo murdered his family and then pretended to be one more victim. He posed as a journalist, traveled to Mexico, used fake identities, and even befriended tourists who had no clue who he really was. Eventually, the FBI caught him on a Mexican beach living under a false name. His story was so shocking it inspired movies and books, showing the darkest side of fake deaths. No happy ending here, just a true crime with a psychological thriller twist. 6. Nicholas Alahverdian, the activist who died only on paper. In 2020, Nicholas Alahverdian, an American activist, thought the best way to escape justice was to die. He supposedly passed away from cancer with a heartfelt obituary and all. But tears dried fast when he started sending emails from the afterlife. Nothing screams guilty louder than posting online after dying. Years later, he was found in Scotland posing as Arthur Knight with a fake accent and portable oxygen to gain sympathy. Police identified him by tattoos and fingerprints. He admitted faking his death to dodge sexual assault charges. He literally tried to be reborn, just without baptism. 5. John Stonehouse, the politician who drowned in lies. John Stonehouse, a British government minister in the 70s, pulled off one of politics' most theatrical disappearances. He left his clothes on a Miami beach and everyone thought he had drowned. While his family mourned, he was already in Australia with his lover, enjoying life and embezzled money. His trick fell apart when Australian police mistook him for another fugitive and arrested him. The press dubbed him the double-dip politician, one dive into the sea, another into public shame. He was extradited and jailed, proving faking death doesn't erase sins or unpaid taxes. 4. Raymond Grady Stansel, from drug lord to eco-tourist. Stansel was an American smuggler caught with tons of marijuana. During his 1974 trial, his lawyer announced he died in a mysterious diving accident. Spoiler, he hadn't. He just got a brand new identity. Plot twist worthy of a soap opera. He moved to Australia, reinventing himself as Dennis Lee Lafferty, a kind tourist entrepreneur running eco-tours. No one suspected a thing for decades until he died in a car crash and his secret was revealed. In short, he faked death underwater and died on land. Irony's favorite ending. 3. Arkady Babchenko, the journalist who held a press conference resurrection. Arkady Babchenko, a Russian journalist exiled in Ukraine, was reported shot dead in 2018. There were photos, tears, and global headlines. But the next day, he appeared alive on TV. Not magic, a secret Ukrainian operation to trap his would-be killers. Even Netflix wouldn't dare. His resurrection divided opinions. Some praised his survival, others said he hurt journalism's credibility. Babchenko stood by his choice, better alive and controversial than dead and consistent. Hard to argue with someone who attended his own funeral. 2. Kim Avis, the street musician who went off-key with justice. Kim Avis, a Scottish street musician with the look of a poetic vagabond, vanished in 2019. It was said he drowned in California, but the story smelled fishy. He had faked his death to escape sexual abuse charges. If he wanted to compose drama, he nailed it, just without soundtrack. He lived under a false name in the U.S. until he was caught and extradited. At trial, the judge called his fake death as clumsy as his lies. Avis learned that disappearing doesn't erase your crimes, it only puts them on pause. And 1. Elvis Presley, the king who never died, according to some. The most famous case, the theory that Elvis Presley faked his death in 1977. Although officially declared dead at Graceland, millions believe the king escaped fame to live quietly. Over the years, supposed sightings have been reported at airports, supermarkets, even on stage. The obsession has grown so much, there are whole books trying to prove he's still alive. Myth or reality, Elvis remains the undefeated champion of fake deaths. And there you have it, 10 stories of people who fake death to escape, reinvent themselves, or just make noise. Which one seemed most absurd? Which most believable? Tell us in the comments. We love gossip with humor. Remember to subscribe to the 10, hit like, and don't fake your death to avoid clicking the bell.